Welcome back to the Sober Sex Sofa. My name is Shanti Patty Owen, where we discuss here the topics of sobriety, sex, and mental health. Well, what she decided to do was run into the kitchen and come out with a knife. You want to go for it? I said, I'll grab that thing and I'll cut you up into a million pieces. I am a sex addict, love addict, an alcoholic, a compulsive gambler, and a debtor. I had all the greatest intentions of finally talking about sex, a hot topic. But then my producer, Stephen Pettinger, who's over in London right now, sent me an article on January 10th from the Daily Mail that alleges that Matthew Perry had assaulted several women. So I shifted my focus from hot topics to hot current events. I'm just so devastated because as a recovering addict, I'm always, rooting for the underdog, rooting for that addict to get sober, stay sober, and rebuild their lives. So to hear this information was very disheartening. What is alleged is that he assaulted his ex-fiancee, which is why she broke off their engagement. Apparently, she caught him sending a Valentine's Day gift in 2021 to a woman he met on a dating app. The other woman that was supposedly assaulted by Matthew Perry was Morgan Moses, which was his sober companion. And in his book, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, he uses her name. He refers to her as Erin, and he also refers to her as his best friend and how she saved his life after his colon had burst. What is alleged is that he shoved her into a wall. He also shoved her onto a bed, and she stopped working with him at that point. Okay, so first of all, I tend to believe women when they say they're assaulted, because women throughout history have always been not believed. So different from how it is in court, you're innocent until proven guilty. I err more on the side of guilty until proven innocent. Whether this is right or not, I do tend to believe women when they say they've been assaulted by a man. Oof, it's very disheartening. So here's what I want to talk about with addicts and violence, because I have been working as a sober companion for over 7 years now. I have encountered violence myself. Now, an addict doesn't have to be using an illegal drug to experience and act out aggressively and violently. That can be an effect of an illegal drug. But also, when clients are on a cocktail of prescription drugs, which apparently Matthew Perry was, they can also act out violently. There were 2 clients that I worked with. Just thinking about them just gets my heart racing because it was scary. It was very disturbing, and I immediately stopped working with them. So one woman that I had worked with off and on, we were living in a rural area, and in the morning when I tried to wake her up, she wouldn't wake. And when she finally opened her eyes, I saw that her pupils were pinpointed, which is an indication of heroin usage, which was her favorite drug. And I said, where the heck did you get it? And after denying it for several minutes, she finally just said, you can order in anything, even in rural areas. So what happened was, as is protocol, when a client has gone out under our watch, we either call their family member, whether it's a husband or a parent, or we call our case manager or agent. And so I decided to give her a few minutes to think about it. I said, I can call, which you know that I need to, or I can let you call, and I'll let you decide. Well, what she decided to do was run into the kitchen and come out with a knife. And I know that I've got a little streak of crazy in me, but when I was sitting down, which is a very vulnerable position, and she was standing above me, but I also know that I'm 5'10", and I was considerably taller than her. So some craziness in me just stood up right in front of her and the knife. And I said, "What are you going to do with that thing? That's too small to make any damage." I said, "Go for it. You want to go for it?" I said, "I'll grab that thing and I'll cut you up into a million pieces." Now, I'm not totally proud of the fact that I did that, but that was sort of my way of saying, "I'm stronger than you. Get out of here." And she surely did. She threw it on the ground and ran to her room. The other client that I had that I also stopped working with, I also worked with off and on. She was shoving me because she wanted her prescription drugs. Now, she was taking Vyvanse, which is known for inciting irritability, aggression, anger, violence, and her Vyvanse prescription was amping up. And she wanted it at a certain hour, and she wasn't supposed to get it for 2 hours. And I was the one who was holding the prescriptions so she didn't abuse them. And she started shoving me and grabbing me. I ran into my bedroom, locked the door, grabbed my pepper spray because she was banging on the door and it looked like the door was going to bust through. And my case manager told me to call the police. So our job can be very dangerous. I completely understand. If this is true, if the sober companion was assaulted by Matthew Perry, of course, you have to leave, because once they've crossed that boundary, of violence, they rarely, if ever, go back. I was taught this by a police officer because I was assaulted by a boyfriend once, and the police came to my apartment and explained that to me because I was in such a daze after it happened. They said, once an abuser has crossed the line and has assaulted you, they never go back. So women, please remember that. I don't care how much you love him or how great your boss is or whoever that is that's assaulting you. I never forgot that. So it's very disheartening. I'm very sad to hear this news, and I'm also not surprised. So for all of you out there still struggling with addiction, I'm here for you. Sobriety is possible. It's more than possible. And anybody out there who's ever been assaulted, I don't care if the person has an addiction issue or not, do not put up with it. Get in touch with law enforcement and make sure that you stay away from that person. I had a restraining order on that boyfriend who assaulted me, and it definitely gave me great ease. Okay, unless some other hot topic comes up, I'm going to start talking about hot topics. I know it sounds like Hot Pockets. Unless some other hot current event comes up, please, Stephen, don't send me any more hot current events. I really want to start talking about sex because it is the middle name, Sober Sex Sofa. So if all the bells and whistles are aligned, next Friday, you will get the first video about sex. Reminder to subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. You'll get all the latest videos, and I so look forward to seeing you back here on the Sober Sex Sofa. Thank you all for tuning in.